Good morning. Topic for today's discussion is secondary glaucomas. Secondary glaucoma per se is a group of disorders in which we have a rise of intraocular pressure which is associated with some primary ocular or systemic disease. Clinical feature in secondary glaucoma compromise that of primary disease and that due to effect of raised intraocular pressure. The classification of secondary glaucoma is depending upon the mechanism of rise in IOP. We have secondary open angle glaucomas in which the angle is been blocked by a trabecular pretrabecular membrane, trabecular clogging, edema and scarring or elevated episcleral venous pressure which will decrease the aqueous outflow. In secondary angle closure glaucoma, in this which may or may not be associated with pupil block. The next classification is depending upon the causative primary disease, which has lens-induced glaucoma, inflammatory glaucoma, pigmentary glaucoma, neovascular glaucoma, glaucomas associated with iridocorneal endothelial syndromes, pseudoexfoliative glaucoma, glaucomas associated with intraocular hemorrhage, steroid-induced glaucoma, traumatic glaucoma, glaucoma in aphakia, glaucoma associated with intraocular tumors. Lens-induced phacogenic glaucoma. In this condition, intraocular pressure is raised secondary to some disorders in crystalline lens, some disorders of crystalline lens, which is classified as this lens-induced glaucoma can be classified as below: lens-induced secondary angle closure glaucoma or a lens-induced secondary open angle glaucoma. In lens-induced secondary angle closure glaucoma, we have phacomorphic glaucoma, which can be due to swollen lens, or a phacotopic glaucoma, which is due to anterior lens displacement. In lens-induced secondary open angle glaucoma, we have phacolytic glaucoma, lens particle glaucoma, phacoanalytic glaucoma. In phacomorphic glaucoma, as discussed earlier, which is a lens-induced secondary angle closure glaucoma, can be caused by intumescent lens or an anterior subluxation or a dislocation of the lens and spirophakia. Intumescent lens is the main cause of phacomorphic glaucoma, which is a swollen cataractous lens which can occur due to rapid maturation of a cataract, or it can sometimes even occur following traumatic rupture of the capsule. Anterior subluxation or a dislocation of the lens is the second main cause of phacomorphic glaucoma, and a spirophakia. Spirophakia means congenital small spherical lens. Pathogenesis behind phacomorphic glaucoma is as it is a secondary angle closure glaucoma, so the angle has been obliterated by a swollen lens which pushes the iris forward, obliterating the angle and resulting in secondary acute angle closure glaucoma. Clinical presentation: the patient presents has acute congestive glaucoma with features almost similar to acute primary angle closure, except that lens is always cataractous and swollen. Treatment in phacomorphic glaucoma should be immediate, and it consists of medical treatment which controls the IOP by to control the IOP by IV mannitol, systemic acetazolamide and topical beta blocker. Laser iridotomy may be effective in breaking the breaking the angle closure attack. Cataract extraction with implantation of IOL, with implantation of PCIOL, which is the main treatment of phacomorphic glaucoma, should be performed once the eye becomes quiet. Phacolytic glaucoma, which is also known as lens protein glaucoma. It is a type of secondary open angle glaucoma in which the angle is open but the trabecular meshwork is been blocked. It can be blocked by lens protein or a macrophages phagocytize the lens protein or inflammatory debris. There can be a leakage of lens protein which occurs through an intact capsule in hypermature cataractous lens. Clinical features is characterized by features of congestive glaucoma, which is due to acute rise in intraocular pressure in an eye having hypermature cataract. Anterior chamber may become deep and aqueous may contain fine white protein particle which will settle down as pseudohypopyon. Anterior chamber angle is open on gonioscopy. Management consists of medical therapy to lower the intraocular pressure, which is followed by extraction of hypermature cataractous lens with PCIOL implantation. Lens particle glaucoma is a type of secondary open angle glaucoma in which the trabecular meshwork is blocked by a lens particle which is floating in the aqueous humor. This can occur due to lens particles left after accidental or a planned extracapsular cataract extraction or following traumatic rupture of the lens. Clinical feature: patient presents with symptoms of acute rise in IOP with lens particles in anterior chamber. Management includes medical therapy to lower the IOP and irrigation aspiration of the lens particles from the anterior chamber. Phacoantigenic glaucoma: in this condition, there occurs a fulminating reaction to antigen antibody reaction where the antigen is a lens protein. The lens protein acts as an antigen. The typical finding in this phacoantigenic glaucoma is a granulomatous inflammation in the involved eye after it goes a surgical trauma. Pathogenesis is as in the case of lens particle glaucoma, usually there is a preceding disruption of lens capsule by extracapsular cataract extraction or penetrating injury or a leak of protein from the capsule. Distinguishing feature is the latent period during which the sensitization of the lens protein occurs. Raised intraocular pressure in this condition is mainly due to the inflammatory reaction of the uveal tissue which is excited by the lens matter. This is basically a type of secondary open angle glaucoma where the trabecular meshwork is clogged both by the inflammatory cells and the lens particles or a protein. Management consists of medical therapy to lower IOP, and the treatment of iridocyclitis is done with steroids and cycloplegics. Irrigation aspiration of the lens matter from the anterior chamber should always be done after proper control of inflammation. Neovascular glaucoma is an intractable glaucoma which results due to the formation of neovascular membrane which is involving the angle of the anterior chamber. Etiology is usually associated with the neovascularization of the iris, also known as robiosis iridis. Neovascularization develops following retinal ischemia, which is commonly seen in proliferative diabetic retinopathy, central retinal vein occlusion, sickle cell retinopathy, Eales disease, and other rare causes which can be chronic intraocular inflammation, intraocular tumor, long-standing retinal detachment, central retinal artery occlusion. These are the common features where neovascularization develops. In neovascular glaucoma, we have three stages. Pre-glaucomatous stage, called as stage of robiosis iridis, open angle glaucoma stage, which occurs due to the formation of the pretrabecular neovascular membrane, and the last stage is secondary angle closure glaucoma due to goniosynovial resulting from the contracture of the neovascular membrane, which is also called as zipper angle closure. Treatment of neovascular membrane is pan-retinal photocoagulation. It may be carried out to prevent the further neovascularization. Medical therapy can be done to lower the IOP, and conventional filtration surgery are usually not effective in controlling the IOP. Artificial filtration shunt, also known as Seton operation, may control the IOP. Next is pseudo-exfoliative glaucoma, also called as glaucoma capsulare. Pseudo-exfoliation syndrome is characterized by the deposition of an amorphous gray dandruff-like material on the pupillary border, anterior lens surface, posterior surface of the iris, zonules, and ciliary processes. This is associated with the secondary open angle glaucoma in about 50% of the cases. The trabecular meshwork is blocked by the exfoliative material. The trabecular meshwork blocked by an exfoliative material is considered as a probable cause of pseudo-exfoliative glaucoma. Next topic is steroid-induced glaucoma, which is a type of secondary open-angle glaucoma which can be developed following topical and sometimes systemic steroid therapy. Etiopathogenesis has been postulated that the response of IOP to steroids is genetically determined. Only in about 5% general population they have high steroid responder, in which they develop marked rise in intraocular pressure after 6 weeks of steroid therapy. 35% of them are moderator and 60% are non-responders. The precise mechanism is unknown, but the following theories has been put forward. First is glycosaminoglycans theory, in which the corticosteroid will inhibit the release of hydrolases. Consequently, the glycosaminoglycans which is present in the trabecular meshwork, they cannot depolarize and they retain water in the extracapsular space, which will cause the narrowing of trabecular spaces and decrease in aqueous outflow. The next theory is endothelial cell theory. Under normal conditions, endothelial cell lining the trabecular meshwork, they act as phagocytes. They act as phagocytes and they phagocytize the debris from the aqueous humor. But corticosteroids will suppress the phagocytic action, which will suppress the action of the endothelial cell action. Corticosteroids will suppress the phagocytic action of the endothelial cells, which will lead to the collection of the debris in the trabecular meshwork, which will decrease the aqueous outflow, leading to increase in rise in IOP. The next theory is prostaglandin theory. Normally, the prostaglandin E and prostaglandin F will increase the aqueous outflow facility, but corticosteroids will inhibit the synthesis of prostaglandin E and prostaglandin F, which will decrease the aqueous outflow facility and increase in raised intraocular pressure. Clinical feature: steroid-induced glaucoma typically resembles of a primary open-angle glaucoma. This clinical features in steroid-induced glaucoma usually develops following weeks of topical therapy with strong steroids and months of therapy with weak steroids. Management: it can be prevented by a judicious use of steroids, and a regular monitoring of IOP when the patient is on steroids is a must. Treatment consists of discontinuation of the steroids. IOP may normalize within 10 days to 4 weeks in 98% of cases. Medical therapy with 0.5% timolol maleate is effective during the normalization period. Filtration surgery is required occasionally in intractable cases. The medical treatment and the surgical treatment of glaucoma will be dealt in detail in the next class. Thank you.